Hello, everybody. It's been a long time. Been super busy, guys. So just wanted to give you guys updates on what it's been like working here, and what I think about the future, etc. And why I haven't been able to stream so much lately. So just going straight to the point. And by the way, just feel free to chime in and comment, but I've been working, yes, and you haven't seen stuff on my YouTube channel because I'm literally been working in production, and I'm starting from the very low ground. So, um, I've been getting opportunities to shoot some professional stuff, but I've also been able to work like as an assistant for super professional shoots like this, with a whole TV crew, etc., out here, and it's been eye-opening to say the least. A lot of like here we worked with a celebrity. He's pretty awesome. Um, I highly recommend that you watch this show when it does come out. It's one where this dude right here, he's gonna be traveling Korea, and it's somewhat of a travel show. It's going to be on British television channel 5, but it's gonna. I think I'll have a link. There's already a YouTube link for him where he was traveling Iceland. It's he's Alexander Arnold, and I'm sorry, Armstrong, and he's pretty famous in Britain. It's the first time I've known of him, but maybe you guys know him if you're from England. But anyways, this is what I've been doing. Just sort of showing you guys what I've been doing. And let's see. As far as working in Korea, I think I sort of now have firsthand experience on why people complain about working in Korea. And I think there's like a lot of misconceptions about it. I mean, there's definitely pros and cons. If you're closed-minded, working in Korea is not for you. But if you are interested in developing yourself, pursuing, your passions, I don't think there is a better place to work than in Korea. It's been really fun. So, anyways. Okay, that's the next project that I'll be doing, which is another hospital that I'm working with. But anyways, I'll just leave it there. So are Koreans somewhat workaholics? Yes, I do believe that they are, but there's both sides. Okay, so I think they're workaholics because they really enjoy their work. I really enjoy my work. I do what I want to do, and I don't mind working overtime or whatever. It doesn't even feel like work. So I'm one of the more fortunate people. But, I'm also going to talk to you about, because I've been talking about working in Korea with a lot of other foreigners that are working here, and their situation's a lot different, I'm super blessed. I get to be working in a field that I really enjoy. So it's not really much work. And I actually even get compensated pretty well for it. But there's a lot of foreigners that come out here and they're working at like teaching English or just working in an office. And that's probably like the worst experiences you can have working in Korea, because the working conditions it's very boring, it's mundane, and the pay isn't even all that great. Although still relative to a lot of other countries, you're going to get paid way more out here in Korea. Like, I would work about 3 days in Thailand a week. It's not full time, but I would only make about $500, and that's per month. And here, I'll make one video and make $500. And now I'm complaining that I'm only making $500 because I know the rate of pay here is just much higher. So yes, there's inflation, etc., but it doesn't compensate for, like like 1,000% increase in pay that I'm getting out here in Korea. So, ooh, what's up, Planet G? I didn't give you a warning, but you're the first to hop on. um, so yeah, but from what they tell me, it's a little different with me. I guess in what I'm doing, it is. I'm getting thrown into the deep end. It's a lot that I'm learning, and I'm trying to be as productive as I can, but I also see that there's a lot of times when you're just not doing anything. And this reminds me sort of a lot about the military. We call it like hurry up and wait. There's a lot of hurry up and waiting in Korea. And I think the hardest part about working here is not that you're working so hard, because actually in America, I think you're working more like a slave. You just get given these routine tasks and you just mindlessly just do it. And you're consistently mindlessly doing it. And I think pretty much the spirit of Mr. Ford and his production assembly is what Americans are good at. They can just get pretty much dumb and simple-minded people to just do routine tasks over and over again, and they pretty much simplify everything. Whereas in Korea, you're expected to do a lot more, and there's a lot more politics. They don't like to explain to you exactly what to do. They don't like to micromanage, and they expect you to sort of know things, which is I think what the hardest part about it is. And you're spending a lot of time trying to figure out what your boss wants you to do. And a lot of the times it's just best to stay out of their way, and it's just you're constantly learning here, so it requires you to really shut up and listen more. And Korean bosses don't, like, contrary to what you may think, like, yeah, they might burst out and yell at you once in a while, but um, they're less micromanaging. They just sort of expect you to do things. Now, my boss is a bit different because she's a bit more Americanized, but uh, she has elements of that, I think, because she's been working in Korea for a while, and that's just how, like, her Korean employees respond. So it's been sort of eye opening. And then when I have those experiences, and I was listening to my other foreign friends who work in Korean companies, it's really extreme over in those companies. So that these are the culture shocks. So I think Americans. There's definitely, like, some survey that I saw that Korean workers are actually some of the least productive workers. Like, they work the longest hours, but each hour of their working doesn't create as much GDP or production. Um, and I actually find a lot of Koreans, when they're working, they're just like chatting with me on Talk or something. Um, so it's how do I say? I think there's pros and cons. Koreans are very good at being flexible and adapting to new situations. So, like, jobs, they come in spurts. So all of a sudden you'll have a big project come in or something you need to do, and they will work overtime over the weekend, etc., and get this project over the line. And then there's other times where they'll go on for like a week and there's almost nothing for them to do. So they're just pretty much just sitting in the office, waiting for something to happen. So that's why they aren't. It doesn't seem like they're productive, because I think one thing that Americans were very good at is creating a system, like a machine, where we're just consistently churning out productivity. So I mean, that, like, I can now appreciate, like when I now see both sides and experience working in both of these environments, and now things sort of make sense to me as far as what other foreigners talk about and complain about in Korea. So there's strengths to both of this. Obviously, there's definitely strength to the way that Americans work, because we're consistently churning out productivity in a reliable, like in a predictable manner, and it's really easy to replace somebody and interchange them because we have a training system. There's always great training in every one of these American companies, and we have a way to quickly, easily change people, and it doesn't really require high level of training or expertise. Whereas Korean companies, the longer that that person is in that company, the harder it becomes to replace them because there's just a lot of things that they learn, and then the training isn't as good. They just sort of expect you to learn by making mistakes and such. So it becomes very costly for a Korean company to replace somebody. And basically everything is taught through the culture. So this has been really interesting for me to see firsthand. Um, and there's different degrees of this automation and how companies work. Um, but I believe I myself I worked in a very highly automatable job in America, I think, which is like banking. You would think it's not that automatable, but it is. Like I know the exact training process for how the biggest bank in America operates, and it's very automatable. We literally, when we hire, we don't even care as much like what your degree is. I would hire based on, does this person have a good personality? Like, is she pretty? Can she attract customers and sell something? Because selling something isn't all that hard, actually. um it's more of a personality. So yeah, I mean, this has been interesting working in Korea. But now, as far as like the cultural differences aside, I just gotta say, uh overall, it's been very enjoyable because I work in a field that I'm very passionate about, and there is a lot of work. So that's why I've been really busy, guys. Um, I had to literally fast forward through that, and that was me just traveling through like three or four different cities, shooting, constantly moving, hotel to hotel, for a week. Oh my god, I'm exhausted, but my director, she does it literally every day. There's not a single day that she rested. So I don't know how she does it. She's got like crazy stamina. Um, I, I, I don't know. I don't know if I could keep up with her, but I can because I'm very enthusiastic about this work, etc. Um, but overall, yeah, I mean, I've been loving working out here because I get to do a lot of what I like to do and improve my skills. So just watching a big production, it helps me like see the creative process of how, you know, like a really well made production um, comes to life. And obviously, for YouTube, I can't do that. I can't have, two camera guys, a sound guy, dedicated sound guy, etc. I mean, maybe I could. I mean, nothing is impossible, but it's just not worth it. Unless I'm like maybe Mr. Beast or something. Um, but I could see, you know, how something gets created with you know, such a larger production compared to, just like one man YouTubing. And I could see maybe what is more useful and less useful for me to do. So this has been great. And, I also get to see how they film something, like the amount of expertise and discipline it takes to capture like a moment, particularly because the type of productions that I assist with are either like documentaries or like travel variety types of shows where things aren't staged. It's just things are happening naturally, almost like YouTube. It's just we're trying to capture everything and naturally as they happen, and you only got one shot at it. And there's a lot of discipline it takes to capture that, and I can see how professionals who just focus on video do it, um, you know, over their 20, 30 years of experience. And it's like a whole new level, like what gear they use, how they set up for that scene, what kind of research that they do beforehand, to get everything set up and stay on schedule. Well, it's been interesting. And yeah, I mean, going forward, I think obviously I'm gonna continue to work in this field as much as I can. But I also know, I think, I also realize that I'm really lacking in a lot of aspects. You know, I don't think before I didn't really think I was such a simple-minded guy, naive guy. I always thought, I wasn't as naive, but after having worked in Korea a bit, I would have to say, most Americans, we're just very naive, we're simple-minded. Um, and I could see why there's just like a lot of nonverbal communication that happens out here in Asia, and it just blew my mind just how much of it happens in real life. It's like beyond what I expected. Like ah, I yeah. Um, that's all I can say. You're just gonna have to experience it yourself. Otherwise, it's just gonna sound like me just ranting about things. But it's just a different way that they work out here, and it works actually because people are busy and they don't have time to really explain. They really don't. If they did have the time, they would explain it, but they don't. Um, and because they're under so much pressure, I don't think they even have the emotional capacity to sit there and train you about it without getting like overly emotional and making the situation worse and just getting into an argumentative state of repeating something over and over again. So it's sort of on the subordinate, the inexperienced person, to learn by observing. So I've been doing that a lot and trying to adapt to it. And yeah, I gotta say it's frustrating, but it works. I mean, this is just another way that they work out here, and you you certainly do learn a lot. You feel bad if you make mistakes and stuff, but and that's ultimately the responsibility of the boss, I guess, because it's up to them to sort of gauge what they should communicate and what they think you can learn through experience and how much damage you could cause by making mistakes. But anyways, yeah, and at the end of the day, it's all worth it because for me, um, well, for everybody, you're getting pretty well compensated for it, I think, relative to other countries out here in Asia. Um, there's lots of growth opportunities, and the cherry on top for me is my work is super fun and enjoyable. Um, but the thing is, a lot of other foreigners are working out here. They would agree with that too, because if their work wasn't fun and enjoyable, they wouldn't be here in Korea. Um, but yeah, some things do get old, like teaching English. It's usually only fun for like the first 2 years, and then they go back to wherever they are because it's really hard to find another job if they don't really have another specific expertise. Um, well, a lot of foreigners are now come to Korea and then they go to universities and they get a degree in the field that they want to work in Korea. So they end up in positions um, that they could work in. And surprisingly, like it's quite common now to see just foreigners, just complete foreign looking people speaking better Korean than me. It's just the power of K-pop or whatever. There's just so many foreigners that study Korean and they come out here and they're able to do that and integrate with the society here. And the Korean society, unlike a lot of the other Asian countries I've been to, they are all for like hiring foreigners and giving them jobs, etc. There's visas for it, so you can literally work in every field. Like it's not like Thailand where no matter what you do, a foreigner can't really work in the tourism industry because it's just there's visa restrictions and laws around that, etc. It's just there's an abundance of jobs for foreigners. You just need to have the expertise in it. You can't just like show up and say, oh, I'm a foreigner, so I'm more qualified than you, and like take jobs. It's like doesn't work that way because Koreans are generally the most overqualified people. There's just an abundance of highly educated, highly expertised individuals out here in Korea, and your English speaking skills and your foreign perspective could be appreciated, but it's it's just like relative to your inexperience in that field or etc. is going to put you, just realistically not as a very good candidate. So coming out here to Korea with also Korean language skills as well, and uh, having a degree in that field, because the visas sort of require that you work in the field that you have a degree in. So like, for example, um, if you want to work in the tourism industry, you better have a degree in hotel tourism, etc. from out here. Like the only thing that doesn't really require that is teaching English, but you still need a prerequisite of having gone to school in a country that's a native English speaking country. So that's why you see a lot of English teachers out here. But that's just one way to do it. They start teaching English, and then they go to school and in whatever field they want to work in, like hotel tourism or whatever, which I don't really recommend because that's the lowest paying sector. But it is enjoyable, so a lot of people do that. It's like there's high demands for foreigners there, so it's easy to find work. Or you could do something more technical like bioengineering, like my other buddy. But whatever the case, working in Korea, there's pros and cons. Like people just paint. What I wanted to basically summarize is people paint Korea to be like this society where just work to death. But as an American, I would say working in America is just as hard. We're working just as much. Literally every moment, every minute you're working in America, generally you are required to do something. There is no downtime. You are basically, part of a very finely tuned machine that is very productive. That's how American companies operate. And I got to give credit for the people that create that system. The operational managers basically get the highest amount of efficiency out of every worker. So even if you're not working longer hours like Koreans, you're constantly working, and it's pretty exhausting. Whereas Koreans, they work in little spurts because a lot of the work they do, unless of course they're working in like factory assembly line, etc., but generally they are because Koreans are working in the service industry mostly. Work comes in seasons, so there'll be certain seasons or like a certain project that comes in that the company has to get. So they'll work in large spurts, and then in large spurts, they're really not doing much. So that's just sort of how it works there. And that might be the reason why people are complaining I have to work so much overtime. But they don't point the other side of the picture. There's a lot of the times where you're just really not doing anything, you know? So I don't really think they're necessarily being overworked. And compared to Americans, it's just, I don't know, Koreans just take a lot of, it's like working in Korea seems a lot more fun. There's, you go out with your coworkers, you have dinner a lot. In America, even working for a company that did a lot of these outings, I can only maybe remember like 3-4 outings a year, like the branch outing. Okay, let's have a branch outing, and we go bowling once, and we have a Christmas party, and it's just like maybe 4 things a year. But in Korea, it's like you're going out almost every week and doing company building. So it's really fun and exciting to work in Korea, and I think that's why a lot of foreigners are working here. Now, anyways, that's sort of what I've been doing, and I also wanted to like respond to this, like going forward, how it's gonna be, and I highly recommend, guys, that you follow my Instagram, because I'm really not able to give too many updates on YouTube. Just the algorithm on YouTube really sucks. As you notice, they're really pushing those short videos out. And they're not really rewarding us for making longer quality content. Not to say that I'm gonna stop, but when I do longer quality content, I think I want to put out really good longer quality content. I hope you enjoyed like my latest one. That one took a lot of time to create, the Chunyang Festival. Put a lot of thought into it. Shooting it was very exhausting, but I think it came out really beautiful and informative, and it covered a festival that's really little known to foreigners. And I think it's a place that everyone should really visit. But I'm gonna be doing a lot of these projects, and now that I've shot some of these projects, a lot of these cities, um, because I'm doing it for like $300-400 a video, but I'm putting out quality that they would usually pay, thousands of dollars for from a production company. So, with me sort of being open to working for three, four, $500 still, they're willing to like take a risk on me and then let me produce maybe even some of the larger projects. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have a couple projects with different cities that I worked with, and they want me to create like a more commercial type of tourism video. So it's not like a vlog, but something that like where I'll be using models and creating something cinematic to say, hey, come have tourism here. There's probably not even going to be any dialogue. It's just all like written, like a short 1 to 2 minute, commercial footage. Um, and yeah, that's what I'll be working on in July and August. It actually takes a lot of planning. I have to go there and scout out the location, submit proposals, get the models, go out there, and you're shooting like over a week, like because you got to get the shot exactly right. So even though it's like a minute or two, it requires a lot more because the level of production is much higher. Um, so that's what I'll be doing. And then also, hopefully I didn't screw up too much with my director and she's gonna use me for other little jobs. So I get little jobs here and there, helping her scout out locations or working as like a second cameraman or an assistant on her bigger shoots, where I get more of inspiration and learn how to create better quality content, which I hope you see translate on the videos lately. I mean, even if you don't, I mean, at least the cities do, and I'm getting more jobs from them. So that's what I will be doing. And yeah, what overall, what are my plans? Well, uh, this is where I'll probably have to share this screen. Um, ta-da. I'm sure you guys know that Thailand recently, finally, I told you guys this would happen. It happened sooner than later, and I was expecting for it to happen before December, winter. But now they have finally gotten rid of all the stupid requirements, like the insurance, etc., to go to Thailand. And now I'm actually, yeah, now I am considering going to Thailand. But obviously, my work, my passion is based out of Korea. Um, like, I'm like, I know some of you guys might think Korea is not whatever. I mean, really, I don't care. I do care, but I'm like, that's not gonna change my mind about it because I know I like Korea, and it's just like, even if I like Thailand, it's just I'm at a stage in my life where I need to sort of develop my skills and my career, and this it's like there's nothing for me in Thailand in that aspect. But I do have a condo there still, and I need to check on it and stuff. So I'll probably go when there's time. But the way this is happening is it's June and already my August schedule is filled up. And by July, as I'm like, it's going to be so hectic in July. In July, I'm sure my September schedule is going to get filled up, vice versa. I mean, the if I'm doing something right, it means it'll just get busier and busier because I'm like really underselling myself, like my value. Like the videos I'm producing, it's worth way more than $500 per video. I mean, it might sound like I'm being like, what's it called? Um, Pretentious here because there's other YouTubers like in Thailand that make crap, and I know because I know how YouTube just pays us crap. Like somebody's like, you should go to Thailand because you can get 20,000 views, and that's what you should do. Blah blah blah. So I get about 1,000, 2,000 views a video in the long run. And then like some of my videos lately in Korea, because initially a lot of the people that subscribe to me aren't interested in Korea, only get like 200-300 views initially. But what I could tell you is in Thailand, my YouTube was only giving me about, what's it like, $200 a month. In Korea, my YouTube is only giving me now about 100, so it's dropped. Yeah. So if I go back to Thailand and they're helping us and they're favoring us, and instead of me getting 5,000 views, like actually I don't even get 5,000 views. Like I would get an average like 2,000 views. I get 2,000 views a video initially, and I was making about $200. Let's say I was getting 20,000. Yeah. 20,000 consistently, maybe. Oh, and now, unlike then, they're taxing us like 30-40%. So maybe I will make about, I'd be lucky if I made $1,000 off YouTube. But um, I don't think I'll be making that much. You know what I'm saying? YouTubers don't really make a lot of money off of YouTube. You guys have to be aware of this. I'm not, when I say this in Thailand and I was only YouTubing, it might sound like I'm just saying I'm not making a lot of money to get you guys to donate or whatever, but we really don't. And now because there's that real temptation of trying to increase my YouTube views, but you can see how I'm making way more money just producing content for other people, right? And it's just like pennies. And they just keep cutting those views down, YouTube, because they're putting it into shorts and they're taxing us more and they're giving us a lower rate. So the future is not really in YouTube for me if I wanted to do this in a sustainable way. I always want to, make YouTube and create content that I think will be interesting for you guys. But for me to be able to do that, I feel like I need to support myself because YouTube isn't going to do it. And, like still to this date, and even when I was back in Thailand, most of my support came from Patreons. The Patreon donations were more than YouTube. So that's why I cater a lot of what I do and my content. And I spent a lot of effort to respond to my Patreons and what they want. It's like YouTube doesn't pay me much, guys. So right now, yeah, I'm making maybe $80 on YouTube, which I can't even see. I can't even access because it's going to some bank account in Thailand that I can't access. So there's really no financial incentive for me to do that, and I'm in a stage of my life where I sort of need to actually make money, I guess, to have a sort of more sustainable life out here. So I hope you guys understand that. And I mean, there's pros and cons to this. Obviously, I'm not putting out as much content as I used to on YouTube, and I apologize for that. But I'm getting to a spot where I'm able to put out better quality content because through these other things, I'm getting a sponsorship for the travel itself. And, a lot of people think And I have to admit, in the beginning last year, a lot of the stuff that I was doing, it wasn't really stuff that I would ultimately have wanted to do. I felt it was a bit commercial, but it's sort of a means to get somewhere, because they don't know me. I haven't created content for Korea. So it requires that I partner up and do maybe a little bit more of these commercially types of things, and make content that, my sponsors would have wanted. But as my viewers are growing, which actually it is for YouTube, it's growing quite significantly, compared to when I first started YouTubing here in Korea, because the algorithm's changing and kicking in and showing it to more Korea-based viewers. And not only that, even if the views aren't good, just because I'm creating really high quality content that um, the sponsors, regardless of the views, would still sponsor at least the trip and still pay me a decent wage of like a couple $100 to cover the meals or whatever, then I could start creating content that's more unique and individual to me. um, so I don't know, somebody said, like, was complaining that my content is like too, like, it doesn't seem real, and I'm like, have you seen my video about the real Cholado, like the real Korea? Like, that's one of the most personal videos I've ever made in my life. Um, and I just made this video about Chunyang, and it's like I was like surprised that my sponsors were okay with that theme, because I'm not necessarily painting Korean dating and women in the best light, but I'm just giving my honest opinion about the differences of dating in Korea and America. But they loved it. They're like, this is really authentic content, and they want to keep working with me, because in Korea, there's so many, like, they already have tons of these people that are creating content to just get the views, which is good. I realize that, but when they have these campaigns, they'll have like 4 or 5 of these big YouTubers, but they don't mind just sort of sneaking me in and creating quality content that's more authentic and paying me the same wage or the same sponsorship. So I have to be really thankful. Like, Korea is not all about the money sometimes. A lot of it is about, just creating good quality content, and content that they think is authentic and appeals to foreigners. And it's like, that's sort of where I'm going. In the beginning, I had to just sort of play the monkey and do some of the more basic stuff. But I mean, I think you should be noticing lately the content that I'm producing. Um, it's more bigger in scale, and allows for more creative control, because I'm not like necessarily going on a tour. Um, they just literally give me like full coverage of the transportation costs, so I could travel anywhere I want on my own time, and shoot it the way that I want. So this is ultimately where I want to get to. Um, and all of this works symbiotically for me, because when I'm working with my director and I'm learning how to do bigger productions, how to work my camera and increasing my technical skills, this will help me create more quality and higher quality content for my channel, which, the sponsors or whoever that are, helping me create the content would like, and then they'll give me bigger projects, etc. So hopefully I'm gonna get there, and it doesn't matter how big I make it as, I don't, even if I become a producer for, whatever, or if that's like a completely different path, or let's say I even become a videographer. Guys, I'll always create content and about living and traveling in Asia, um, and anywhere else in the world that I might be, because I truly, truly enjoy, sharing my experiences and showing you guys that, um, if you pursue your passions, whatever it may be, there's hope. Like, you can make it out here. That's the most important thing. Like that was a message that I started out with. That's why I said, live and travel in Asia. And, over the years, it seems like I've inspired a lot of people to do that. There's a lot of people who misunderstood that message and they're trying to get financial stability or whatever, which is probably not going well for them right now. But whatever the case, that's what I want to do. So uh, it's a means to an end, guys, because obviously, I'm not stubborn. If YouTube isn't paying me and it just seems like it's not looking any better for us in that route, I got to be flexible. And that's what being in Asia is all about. Remember my video about having expectations and coming out to Asia? Don't expect anything. When I started YouTube, I didn't expect to be a big time YouTuber and be able to, even pull in $100 a month. I just did it because it was fun, and I enjoy making videos and sharing my life with you guys. And it's the same, there was a time where I was getting pretty decent views on YouTube, and it seemed like, hey, you know what, I could just, make YouTube and do whatever I want. But COVID happened, things happened, traveling's harder, the prices are going up, YouTube isn't paying me much, so I'm being flexible, and I know I'm happy. But I just want to still keep you guys and have you come along for the ride. I see that Ray is commenting. Hello, Ethan. I'm of the opinion your latest content on these small towns has been edifying. Makes me want to visit those places. Love the real Korea stuff. Sounds like you found your passion. Wow, thank you, Ray. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, like everybody sort of tells me this, it's just one dude on my Discord that just keeps like going on about how, like, you need to go to Thailand, the stuff that you're not really living like the real life. I'm traveling more than you. I'm literally traveling every day. Like, I'm like, where are you getting this stuff? Like, when I was in Thailand, literally I'm stuck at Bangkok, and I could tell you how many flights I've had. I only like fly out like 2-3 times a year. And now, I get to literally travel every day. I'm on a train, I'm making content. Sometimes it's not always for my channel, but it's been enjoyable. And these are experiences that I'm having that I think really adds to my experience and my ability to share insight into life out here. Because, let's face it, a YouTuber's life is not a typical life. Somebody who's YouTubing is not. The only guys that I think really have an authentic life as a YouTuber are retirees, maybe. And that's why I think, a lot of the retired YouTuber channels are sort of working out there in Thailand, because the only way you can be an authentic retiree and YouTube is like being a retiree, because you don't have to work, so you're just literally just going around having fun and making videos. But that isn't the typical lifestyle that most of you guys are going to experience if you come out to Asia, unless you have like a fixed income like a lot of these guys, or like a lot of money that they have saved up and just getting consistently a lot of money, or actually half of them just run out of money, so then they go back after that, if they don't make it as a YouTuber. So yeah, I mean, I'm experiencing real life here, that means that sometimes I can't YouTube all the time, so I'm trying to keep it real, but it's just the way it is. And hopefully you guys can appreciate the insight on that. Because honestly, I think I've already done the job of selling Asia. I mean, if by now you've been watching hundreds and hundreds of videos I've put out, and you're not convinced that you want to come out to Asia, then I don't know what else to say. Like literally every day out here is a blessing for me. And now it's more about how to like showing you guys the different ways that I'm living out here to make it sustainable. Obviously, my pathway isn't for everybody, but I can tell you it's just as easy, maybe even easier, if you take another path. the path that I'm taking is trying to create content and such. It's not easy, you know. Uh, and I know it's hard to believe because it seems easy. And coming from me, it might seem like I'm just like praising myself, but I'll just say it for those of you guys, for the record. So you don't blame me if you come out here and you try to be a YouTuber and you realize it's super hard. Um, you know, but it's not easy. But if that is your passion, I believe you can make it. I don't want to discourage anybody from being a YouTuber if they really, really want to do that. And that's and I already know the people that really want to do it or not based on the first question they ask about being a YouTuber. They're like, dude, I think I'm gonna come out there being doing YouTube. How much do you make? And I'm like, I make $80 on YouTube. It's like, and then they get turned off. Then I know that you truly, truly weren't interested in being a YouTuber. Expect nothing, just expect to have those experiences. Like, go back to my video about people who shouldn't come out to Asia. Just expect to have those moments that you're happy with. If you're going to be a YouTuber, expect the worst, which is very possible. You're going to come out here, make a bunch of YouTube videos, not going to make any money, and you're going to run out of money, and you're going to go back to America. But that might be the best thing in your life because you got to have an adventure, document all that, share it with people, and whether or not they viewed it or not and YouTube appreciates it or not, that was the time of your life. That's the kind of expectation and mentality I think somebody should have if they want to be a YouTuber. Because that's the mentality I have, unless you're a rich retiree on a pension and whatever. It's like, it doesn't even really matter whether or not you're successful on YouTube, right? It's just like, then yes, you could do whatever you want. For those of you guys who want like keep asking me advice, like, I want to be a YouTuber, like they think there's some kind of secret. The secret is you work for pennies, but you're so passionate about it and you work harder than everybody else that you can literally undercut everybody else in the production area. That's pretty much how it works. Like, it took me years to get my skill level to a point where I could imitate production, but like these guys that I work with right now that do the TV shows and stuff, I'm like, they're way higher than me. It doesn't, like, I've had 5, 6, 7 years shooting, making videos and stuff, but I could, I'm not ashamed to say that these guys are truly experts. Like, it would take me years to acquire their skill level because they're doing it on a professional level in a very like specialized manner, like only video, only sound, only production, only production, like this. So they're levels ahead of me in that area. So but the thing I have is I'm truly passionate about what I do. And when you are, generally in our field, like when you're making content, we're generally artists, and artists recognize other artists. And, just even if you're not good at it, if you meet people who are nice, there's a lot of nice people everywhere. They're just like, they want to help you succeed. And that's why I get the opportunities. And, there's sometimes crap jobs. And then I take those crap jobs sometimes, but I do a job that's 2-3 times better than what they expect or are paying me for it. Like in the beginning, I wasn't making $500 a video. And then still I'm doing a lot of stuff right now consistently where I only make like $40 a video. It's barely enough to cover for, my lunch and me traveling out there and buying a cup of coffee to the model or whoever is also working for free for me. But I get her a coffee because, I'm like, hey, that's great. Thanks for coming out. And that's already $40-$50 or whatever they're paying me. but I deliver content that's worth about $500. Somebody notices, and then they're like, you know what? There's an opportunity to make 300, 400, $500 for this content. Could you do it for us? You know? And then I do that, and then I deliver something that's worth thousands of dollars, and then they give me opportunities for that, which is still pennies compared to how much like these big production and expertise people with expertise make. So that's sort of the mentality, and apply it to any other industry that you're in. You know, like, I don't know what you do. Maybe you're computer programming, and there's a certain rate that you should expect from, you know, doing it in America. But come out here, you don't speak Korean or whatever, you're probably gonna have to work for pennies. You know, like a tenth of the rate that you're used to, but it's enough to at least just get you by, and you're passionate and you love doing it, and go for it. That's what you do. But if you're not, you know, and I could see like how in that field, I don't know how you could be really passionate about working in Korea for pennies. Then just work in America and come out and travel here. You know, like, I get that. So sometimes you're stuck in a field where you can't do it, but you know, whatever it might be that you want to do. Maybe you want to come out here and start a farm. I don't know, guys. Let's see. Comments. I agree. Seeing these small towns also makes me want to visit. Just signed up for your Patreon last week. Hopefully it helps them. Your content is great. It's only right that I pay for. Oh my gosh, Freedom Baby. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know why Patreon didn't send me an email. I usually I get an email when somebody new signs up for Patreon, and I send them an email. But you know, I'll just give you a shout out right here, buddy. I really, really appreciate it. And you know, like, I really appreciate that you're paying me for it. I really don't deserve it. I mean, like, I'm really grateful for it. So yeah, I mean, it's just you guys, the kind-hearted people out there that, you know, help me out, that really, really makes this channel tick. Because I'm telling you, like, YouTube doesn't pay me anything. I mean, yeah. Let me see how much did I make. Let me show you. I'm not making this up, guys. I'll show you how much I make. Analytics. It should be here somewhere. My estimated, it's not even $80 this month. It's 77. and honestly, most of this is coming because I already have a backlog of hundreds of videos. And you know, like, look at this. The biggest views this month are not from videos I've released right now, because they generally don't do good. The algorithm has to pick it up. So remember this one with Tad? That one got the most views. And this one, not many people watch this at all. This Lotte World one that I did, I thought it was a really good video. And not many people watched it, but now it's finally getting picked up by the algorithm, because I actually really spent a lot of time making that video about Lotte World, you know, like one of the amusement parks here. And the Korean driver's license, it got like almost no views when I first released it, because, you know, the people that are already subscribed to my channel are interested in Thailand. Why would they want to? But I'm like, this is something I think is really useful. Now I'm getting all the views off of that. And this one, man, I wish I did more walking videos of Hong Kong. Like, my whole Hong Kong series didn't do good. You know, I'm living in Thailand. I went to Hong Kong because I like traveling. And I was so discouraged because I went to Hong Kong and Taiwan, and I really, really loved those areas. But it did like crap views, you know? So that's why I just kept making Bangkok content. And in hindsight, I shouldn't have. I should have just kept making that content, because I know it was good, you know? And like, if you're not watching it because you're closed-minded and all you want to know is about Thailand, I'm like, I should have just said, forget it. But that's what's like, you notice none of this is about Thailand. Like, all my latest videos, the top videos are about Korea or some other country. This one, the Korean motorcycle, another apartment video. This is a Korean mountain. Like, I thought this was a really good video too. Oh, and then the one that actually is still doing good in my Thailand is the driver's license in Thailand. This one is the driver's license in Korea again. And then this is my young. Oh, well, this is a recent one that I thought was really good. Now it's finally picking up 608 views. Oh wow, finally. So yeah, that's what it is. I make $70 a month. So yeah, every bit helps, guys. Like, even if you're donating $3, like, I really appreciate it. It goes a long ways, and it really helps me create content, you know. And right now I have to work with sponsors because I can't afford to like travel to like nice fancy places. I'm not even fancy place. I can't. It's just like that's not enough to even pay for like a night and travel expenses to even a crappy place, like one a month, much less on a consistent like three, 6 videos a month basis. So I hope you understand why I have to sort of work with sponsors, but I feel like the sponsors that I am getting lately are pretty good. They give me creative control to make whatever content I want. Like the one that you saw on the Real Korea, Kangjin, they're just like, just feature our province. And I'm like, yeah, it's a beautiful place, like, so like I couldn't even feature all of it, like there's actually way more beautiful scenery that I couldn't get to because I just didn't have time. But there's like feature our province, and um just make content about it. And they give me creative control. Like, another YouTuber came, just did food there. He's a food YouTuber. Another one, it was like a North Korean escapee, and then she made content about one museum there that had all the North Korean art and stuff. So it's like they give us creative control, and these are the kinds of sponsors I'd like to work with. And generally, you don't get to work with them unless you pull in a lot of views, because I understand they want their city to be shown to a lot of people. But I've also found like management companies, etc., that recognize that my quality is good, and they try to sneak me in to their projects. Like, hey, this guy, he doesn't have a lot of views, but let's still get him into our project because I think he makes really good quality content. And I've been really fortunate to meet people like that push my channel so I could start, I could get these projects that only top YouTubers get, and have creative control to do what I want, So, but to get there, it wasn't easy. Like, I had to do a bunch of these stupid videos sometimes, only getting like paid like $40 or $50, just enough to get coverage for transportation, etc. But I did a good job on that, and that's why I'm here. And hopefully I eventually get to a point where I could get even bigger and better projects and even more creative control over my content to share with you guys. And the ultimate plan is, once I grow big enough here, then I could also get projects from other countries that I want to show you guys more of, like Japan, etc. But you got to start somewhere, guys. So that's why I'm sorry to say I'm not going to be going back to Thailand soon on a long-term basis, but I definitely plan on going there now with this whole BS over, with the stupid insurance and everything. And I think I'll be going around winter, because that's generally when a lot of these projects they go into hiatus. So when I have less work, that's my opportunity to sort of go there. I actually don't plan on doing too many videos, but who knows? I mean, I haven't been to Thailand, and generally I just make videos if I think it's inspirational, or like a thought comes up. And I have a feeling a lot of thoughts will go through my head, when I go to Thailand. Like, how different it feels. Maybe it's better than I expected or worse than I expected. Whatever. I'll definitely make content. I don't know how much. I agree. Your passion transfers to your content. Good stuff. Thank you so much. You're using your Korean connections well. Can you make up to 10K USD per month in Korea? I mean, nothing is impossible, but 10K a month would be really tough. But you know what? Like a year ago, if you told me I could be making, like consistently like a good $500 per video, um, I would have said that would be really tough too, but I'm literally making what I made in 1 month teaching English in Thailand, making one video in Korea. Sure, the cost of living here is slightly higher sometimes, but it could also be just as affordable. I mean, depending on how you do it. And for me, it's more important that I do what I get to do, Like, it'll be different for you if you're not a YouTuber or you're not constantly traveling for work, but I don't mind staying in a condo or a room that's not as nice as Thailand because I'm not there most of the time because I'm usually traveling and staying in nice hotels and stuff, So I just need a place. So I could cut down my costs and like lower my costs in other areas so my cost of living is almost the same as Thailand. Um so $500 is still like nothing, guys. It's really nothing. Um, so I'm like, I'll just be happy if by the end of this year I can consistently pull in about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. I'm still not there. I mean, because I just don't have as many connections, and these schedules are really demanding. But if I could pull like $2,000 to $3,000 a month, then I think also like you see me like in my parents' house, but most of the time I'm in my cousin's place because my aunt sort of left for America, and it's only my cousin living there in a 3-bedroom apartment. So, and it's in close to Seoul. But my cousin's now going to go to Germany, and they're going to put that place up for sale or a rent. So I sort of given it until the end of this year for me to try to consistently pull in about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. That way, I could sort of get my own place, and I guess if I'm really frugal, I can maybe find a place for about like $500 a month. And then if I'm more based out of Seoul, then I'll have a lot more. It'll be easier for me to make income actually. Um, And yeah, I mean, I could dream of the day when I'm making 10K a month. That would be great. But 10K a month in Korea is a lot. You should understand that because we don't have a lot of overhead costs like in America, like all these insurance bills and stuff like that. So 10K in America is not equivalent to making 10K in Korea. 10K in Korea is like a lot. So even like if I make like $2,000 to $3,000 a month, that's still pretty good, because like insurance and everything is basically free. There's nothing. I don't even need to have a car. So like my transportation cost a month is less than $100. You know what I'm saying? Transportation costs less than $100. Insurance pretty much free. I mean, what am I paying? Everything is free except for food cost, which comes to be about, even if I eat pretty well, it's like $200. I kid you not, right? $200 if I eat well. So that's like $300 overhead cost here. And then I just gotta pay for rent, which is like 500. So if I made like $3,000, that's a lot of money actually. So yeah, I don't need to make a lot of money, but I just want to be in a position where I am learning and making more money each year because I'm increasing my value, and or at least being able to produce better quality content, one or the other. Some I don't mind doing projects where they don't pay me anything, but it might be a great opportunity. They might send me on a trip to another country, and they might even give me like and it also depends how much creative control I have over the schedule and the content that I'm going to be producing. And if it's good, I'm willing to accept no money for it, because ultimately, I make money so that I could create content and share it with you guys. So even if they don't make any money, if I don't make any money from these sponsors, but they're paying for, what otherwise I would have to pay out of my own pocket to travel to a country I want to, pay for accommodations and stuff like that, I'm willing to work for no money, because that's my passion, guys. Like, at the end of the day, making videos and sharing my life with you guys. So yeah, it's one or the other. If it's like, that's what I'll keep doing. um on a personal note, can I ask how things are, you and your girlfriend? Is she interested in going back to Thailand with you? And have you been excommunicated by Taz? I'm not sure what you mean by Taz, but me and Maya, I just got off the phone with her. I mean, we're we're still together. um but yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't get it, but yeah, we're still together, because we're sort of very low maintenance couple. Like, we're already over our sort of lovey-dovey phase already. Before I still care about her, she cares about me. As far as what's gonna happen, that's difficult, because I could, she clearly sees it. My life is gonna be here in Korea. I Ideally, I would like to be outside of Korea 6 months a year, as much as I can, but I would have to, I have to work, etc. And this is something I want to cover, like how the economy is working and stuff. But this is something that I've changed a little bit, and I'm calibrating to how things are happening with our economy. It doesn't really look good. So if there is work opportunity, I'm taking it right now, because I think we're gonna have some hard times ahead. Um, but she's the same way. She loves working in Japan right now. She's in Japan. She would like to ultimately stop working in Japan, because she doesn't like the work over there in Japan. But she also knows she's going to be there for a certain amount of time, because she just bought herself a Kawasaki like Ninja 250. She just got her motorcycle driver's license. She's going to be driving around, enjoying her time in Japan and making the best of it while she's there. And for the time being, Thailand doesn't. I'm telling you guys, Thailand doesn't have a lot of work opportunities. Like, I think my girlfriend sees this too. She's getting paid way more in Japan. Yeah, the work environment might not be as enjoyable as Thailand, but it's like, being in Thailand is like being in a dead end job. Like, there's not much development for her. So eventually she would like to go, but then she's also very, like, before she wasn't, but now that she's seeing my life in Korea, she's very open to coming to Korea. But one of the conditions was like, if you had your own place, like she sort of wants that stability. Like, if she's gonna come out, I'm pretty sure she can find a job out here, but she wants me to at least have my own place, which I get. It doesn't even matter if it's like a one room or whatever. That's why I sort of said I'm gonna give myself until the end of this year. Try to get to, making about $2,000-3,000 a month. I think I can, but my philosophy. I don't expect it, because you never know what's gonna happen with this economy. But if I get to making about $2,000-3,000 a month and it seems very consistent, I'll sign a 1 year lease or whatever to for an apartment or whatever. And I don't expect her to come either. I don't expect anything, but then we'll see from there. And it's very possible that she might be able to transfer to Thailand, which I wouldn't mind either, because then we got our condo there. She can live there, and then I could like consistently visit her. Yeah, it's like that, but I don't know. For me, I'm okay with long distance relationships, but it is what it is. We eventually, I believe that we want to be together. So we gotta, like, right now it's very difficult because of COVID. I can't travel to Japan, but Once Japan lifts their travel restrictions, honestly, it's like I would like to go there like a lot. You know, it's only like 20. It's only like 20-30 bucks, but now with the fuel costs, it must be higher. It's like probably now 30-40 bucks, because to Osaka from Seoul, it's super close. It's like an hour's flight, very cheap. So I could like literally go there every weekend. I don't even need a visa to go to Japan as an American. So I could sort of like go there and stay with her a lot whenever I got some downtime. And my the line of work that I do, it's not like an office job. So I'll have spurts of jobs here, and I could choose not to accept jobs for like a week or two, and I could go be with her. I mean, that's what's really great about my job. It's like very flexible in the schedule, you know. Some people like being location independent because they could do their job in another location, but me, I might not be location independent. I am very location dependent because you have to shoot in a specific location. But that's great because I like to travel. And number two, um, is more flexible with the scheduling. I could just choose not to accept jobs. Although it's much tougher because if you stop not accepting jobs, they won't call you. You know, but I could theoretically work something out. So that's my plan. Um, he was a real one. I miss Uncle Tad. Ah, Tad. You mean communicate by Tad? And have you been excommunicated? Yeah, Tad. I guess has excommunicated me. He hasn't really talked. Oh, Chris, what's up, Chris? You got a new Korean and Vietnamese girlfriend? No, not really. Your Korean American Army friend. Are you sure Maya's already gotten herself a Chinese husband? I don't know. Maybe she did. I don't think so. I FaceTime with her all the time, guys. I know at a certain time when you wished Tad a happy day, he didn't respond. So was curious if you talked to him or hence been excommunicated. Um, yeah, guys. I think I told you I like said, hey, what's up, and then he never responded to me. So I guess I've been excommunicated. So I haven't really talked to him. I wish him the best. Yeah, it's just it's just like I could tell him and me, like our priorities are very different. We sort of conflict too much, and um, I think it's just best. Yeah. Um, yeah. What's up, Chris? And yeah, that's sort of what happened. But now I got a new buddy, Charles. I don't know if you've seen him. He's my other older Korean American buddy from Southern California. That guy's fun. So I hang out with him a lot. I don't really vlog everything. I I shouldn't be vlogging everything I do with that guy. It's just a bit crazy. But you'll see more of it. I was gonna help him move, but it was just so busy. I've been doing other work. But he just got himself a really nice condo in like a really nice area near Seoul, like one of the main areas, the center of Gyeonggi province. It looks better than Seoul. Like Gyeonggi province, guys, it's like Orange County. Kobe Bryant doesn't live in Los Angeles because it's a dump. He lives in Orange County. So that's just sort of how it is. Like Gyeonggi province is like the surrounding province or like right on the outskirts of Seoul. That's like where all the new planned cities are. It's much more scenic, like it's more natural and like it's beautiful. I also live in Gyeonggi province with my cousin, but that's like an older area of Gyeonggi. But there's this new area called why do I forget the name? But it's like it's exactly south from Gangnam, right south of Gangnam is this area of Gyeonggi, and that's where the new center of Gyeonggi is. He got himself a place there, overlooking like this lake, super nice. I was gonna do a video on that, just like Tad, like how much a luxury condo tour in Korea, but couldn't. When I have free time, I will, and you'll see this guy Charles. He's fun. Um, Tad is fun too. I can't say who's more fun. They're fun in different ways, but Charles is a bit more crazy. um, let's see. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I keep you guys in the loop. Anyways, yeah, thanks for hopping on. Now I see that there's 7 people. I feel like I should keep continuing, but I really got a lot of work to do, guys. Yeah, for those of you guys popping in, definitely follow my Instagram. I know you guys aren't into Instagram, but you don't. It's not the new thing now. It's old now. Everyone's doing TikTok. Um, so follow my Instagram because that's where I'm updating a lot of this stuff, and like I'm splitting my content like 50% on Instagram and 50% on YouTube because I'm doing what's called Instagram Reels. And they get a lot more views. Like you'll see, I get like 3,000-4,000 views on Instagram, and it's just less work. Not only less work, but the kind of content that my sponsors are wanting, it's more in tune with that. They just want to like, hey, go on a trip and then enjoy yourself. And I can't sit there and talk about like anything like too controversial. So I make an Instagram reel, just like a highlight of the things I do, because honestly, I believe that's all that content deserves, and yeah. So this is one I made on Instagram in case you guys don't see it. So I went there on a 1 night, 2-day tour. Took me to really fancy restaurants. This is she's like a descendant of somebody who used to create palace food for the king, and they have a restaurant called Palace Kung, and you get a course meal from there. That's super high quality. So it's really nice, but I didn't make a YouTube video out of it because how many videos of me traveling to a place saying, hey, this is good, do you guys like? Apparently you guys don't like it that much. So I just make a short Instagram reel because that way it frees up my time to make more authentic content for you guys, because it seems like you guys want the content where I'm like giving you more content and context and talking more. But like when I work for like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and stuff, I don't want to say anything controversial, because they're going to put it on their channel. And if I say anything about like China or whatever, like this, it's going to be controversial. The Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs channel, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I make more of these, very simple videos. But at least you'll know what I'm doing. So Instagram is where I'll be updating a lot of what I do on a day-to-day basis. And I want to keep my YouTube to make more in-depth, more personal videos like you've been seeing lately, that provide more context to Korean culture or my life out here. So be understanding of that. Ultimately, my plan is to next year not to do as many of these programs and to have enough independent projects with different cities and stuff to make my own content. So that's the plan. But yeah, I really like this trip. It's pretty fun. Got to make ceramics and stuff like this. I'm heading out paddleboarding and going to the scuba shop. Would love hosting you and Mayu in Ottawa. I figured out how to have fun in this town in the summer. Me and Mayu would love to go out there to Ottawa, buddy. And yeah, definitely. You are a friend of the channel. You are a personal friend. You and Jack. Still haven't figured out how to have fun in winter. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, man, I would love to go out there one day. Once COVID's over and gas prices are reasonable. Make one video every day. Can you get an interview with the former President Moon? I don't know. I guess maybe if I become a really big YouTuber, maybe one day. When you're a big enough YouTuber and you get enough views and your channel is known to create, non-controversial content, then yeah, you'll get stuff. It's like this is the kind of stuff I get every day. Somebody's like, let's go to Gangneung Beach Beer Festival. Does this seem fun? They don't pay you anything, but I get to go to the beach, go to a beach beer festival, drink beer. They house us in a nice resort. And then basically they just want me to, like, then I'm given a choice. They would love a YouTube video, but that's not a requirement. You just need to take pictures, which I could take pictures. And then, but I like to make content. But I make content, and then you guys weren't so interested in it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna have fun. I'm just gonna go to the beach, have beer, chill with my friends, because now like all my friends are in the influencer field or whatever. And then I'll make content about stuff you guys are interested in. But I can't pass up opportunities like this. It's so fun. Like, why wouldn't I want to go to a beach beer festival? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know. I guess I've been second guessing myself, because like some people are like, man, you're like selling out to these sponsors, and I'm like, I mean, I'm not like, no one's forcing me to do this. I really just want to go to a beach beer festival, and I make content about it, and then they think it's like I'm selling out, and I'm like, dude, like I can only be grateful that they have these opportunities. I've been in Thailand for 5-6 years. Like, I've never been given a single free trip, much less a dime for the content I produce. I'm here in Korea, and they are literally paying me, or at least covering for all my transportation costs, to experience all the great things that Korea has to offer. So then I get to do it and I share it with you guys. So I don't really think it's selling out, guys. But a lot, like, I don't know, it's been getting to me. Some people are like, oh, you're selling out. I don't like the content. It just seems too commercial. I'm like, well, I mean, it's a beach beer festival. Yeah, you're gonna have some beer, companies involved. It's gonna be commercial, but I don't mind. If you like, it's no different than me going to a Chang beer festival in Thailand. But somehow, just because it's in Thailand, people are like, it's authentic. But like, it's not any less authentic. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm constantly dealing with here. Poor me. My friends want me to go to the beach beer festival, but I can't work out the schedule for this one, because see, we're heading back at 1:30, and I got a yacht that I need to get on at 6:30 in Seoul. Which is also not going to be a video. I'm going to make a short Instagram reel, but no, never mind. It's going to be a YouTube short. I'm going to go on there with a couple friends. You'll see my friend Sarah, this other girl that's been wanting to shoot with me for a while. And, since you guys think it's commercial, so I'll just keep it real short, like a YouTube short, vertical video for a minute, because honestly, that's all that really deserves. There's not much to it. It's a nice yacht ride, but I would like to experience a yacht ride, guys. So I'm sorry I'm selling out for a free yacht ride and making a content about it. Hope you understand. So I'm just living life, guys. I'm just having fun out here. And just because, I'm getting sponsored by it doesn't really take away from the fact that these are great experiences. That's why I'm doing it for free. Okay, let's see. Planet G, make one video every day. I got e-bikes and live near 200-kilometer bike trails. Ooh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting an e-bike, but I have the Honda Cub, as you know already, which is sort of like almost like a bicycle. That would be great for videos since they are so quiet. You gotta get, buddy. You gotta eat, buddy. 10K hours to become a videography master. You are so close. What? You think I can make 10K? Oh, I appreciate that. Dude, I'm interested in the Beach Beer Festival. Who wouldn't want to see that video? I will watch all of those videos. Haters gonna hate. Okay, thank you. Thank you for telling me this. Yes. Man, I sort of regret this because I just got this today and I already committed to the yacht thing like 2 weeks ago. I'm going to ask if I could. I'm going to pay my own money to go to this maybe, because I could go to this Yongpyong resort. I did a video on this already. This is the one I went skiing in, guys. So I know where it is. I can maybe take a taxi to the KTX and make it back for my yacht ride with the two girls that I promised I would shoot with. So I can't let my sponsor down that I already said I would do the yacht ride. I can't let the two girls down. So I got to make it back to Yeongdeung-do district to get on this yacht ride over the Hangang in Seoul. So if I could make that happen somehow, like work something out with this tour planner, which I actually know because I've done a couple videos with her already, then I'll do the beer festival. Come on, like this is great. Beer, beach, girls in bikinis. Like, why would I pass this opportunity? Okay, so I gotta go. I gotta try to. I gotta figure this out. Like, there's tons of things I gotta figure out. But thanks for chiming in, and always feel free to message me or whatever. I might not be able to respond in a prompt manner, but I try to, guys. You guys are all important to me. Motorcycle insurance here was so expensive. I just got an e-bike. Keep them in this shed. Ooh, yeah, that would definitely be an issue. Yeah. Ooh, I could talk about that as well, like how it works in Korea. But anyways, I gotta go. Thanks for chiming in, guys. That's my update. What's been happening here? Working in Korea has been great. I probably, if I had a plan, I've never been. I never say never, and I never say it's always certain, but I never really ever felt like a country wanted me so much to be in the country as I have in Korea. Like, they make me feel at home. They really make me feel like they value my expertise here and my content. Not only that, it's just been really enjoyable. I mean, most of the stuff that I enjoy, you guys haven't been able to see because I'm doing it for another channel. I'm doing it for them. And all the drinking stuff, etc. I don't really vlog about it yet because a lot of these, I'm doing it with a lot of influencers, and a lot of these influencers have this clean image, like they're cute girls or whatever, and I gotta respect that they don't want to be like in video, like getting wasted on soju. So, yeah, I mean, but whatever the case, I mean, it's like I'm having a blast out here. I can only tell you guys that it's a blast to be in Korea and that you should be in Korea too. But I'll slowly introduce different things. Once people get more comfortable with me, once I become bigger and people know what my channel's about, they're more likely to let me make these types of videos and content. Good stuff, Ethan. Have fun. Korea needs a cultural bridge. That's you. Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. Alrighty.